How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today got quite a few things done on Kernel. First off though, Rebel by Choice made a really good suggestion, and even though I kind of figured this game's too much of a cock blocker, it probably won't work, but he was saying, what if you like use the destruction mode to tear up the terrain and see if like the scalpel will then deploy, you know, where you've kind of ripped the terrain up. And yeah, I thought it was a good idea. It'd actually be pretty cool if they did do that in the game. I mean, strictly speaking, I'd rather the scalper just deploys everywhere, but worst case, if it was like, you know, use destruction mode, scrape off the topsoil or whatever and expose sand underneath, it'd be a pretty cool idea. I tested it more than what is in this video, but yeah, I gave it a good go. It was looking promising, as in like when I was doing the destruction mode, the soil and that underneath looked like there was some potential, but I drove back and forth on it a few times. I drove on it before as well, by the way, just to double check that it couldn't deploy in the first place, and then obviously the idea was to destruction mode, scrape it, and then see if it'll be able to deploy afterwards. I also tried another spot. There was a patch of sand on this though, because from back before they fixed the Bicycle leaking sand, I was just leaking it off to the side of the road so it didn't mess my road up. Again, it was looking potentially promising because it was that kind of browny gold-ish, well, probably not quite the gold, but yeah, it was looking like maybe I have unearthed some sand. However, no, I unearthed some earth. Also put like a little wig thing on that monster thing that's drawn next to one of the geysers. I was originally going to scrape all of it, and then it did. I was wondering, it says that ruin a beautiful thing or something, an achievement. I was wondering if that was it. Also, I got all the toy trucks collected tonight. This bit was a pain in the arse. I had to bring a big crane in the end to reach over that boat. You need the big crane for a good portion of them, to be honest. I wanted to go around in one vehicle like this to collect them all, and then it made me drive horrifically slow to the destination. And just before this, by the way, my internet cut out. It cut out twice tonight, and whilst I was getting this, I was already on the game, so I didn't sort of need the internet. But yeah, I've got 7 toy trucks and then 2 Warhammer barrels. They total 150 grand, and when I sold them, it should have popped up an achievement. But obviously I figured at this point, oh, it mustn't have like registered with the achievement because my internet's out. And yeah, it was a bit of a pain in the ass because I then quit and reloaded now because I wanted to load up like before I delivered the toys so it would trigger the achievement. One, when I quit and reloaded, I ended up crashing, nearly getting stuck. And then when I went to load it back up, it was saying like I can't synchronize the cloud on Steam, so do I want to continue? It would have fired the game up, but it was saying it might overwrite my cloud progress and all that. I was just like, ah. So I had to sit here for a while, and then typical, the internet came back on just as I was having something to eat. I also, for some reason, the first time I dropped the toys off, there's the barrels, by the way. Sorry, I'm just going to go over this quickly. The barrels are in the top right. They're down here at the minute because I dragged them down the other day with the links. And the first toy, which is over here in the top right, on its own little island, near that boat. Yeah, so that's the first of the toys, and then again the 2 Warhammer barrels. Second toy is in the middle of that building, kind of propped up on a pillar in the middle. And then you've got sort of 3 more toys over here, really. Right on the left-hand side, there's one on the beach. Just south of like the tunnel exit base, really. There's one on this little island by itself next to the tree. And then a little bit further south, there's a little island here with that barge that's beach. You can only really approach from the south. Thankfully, I've just got enough cloud uncovered to be able to see it. I've since built a road all along there and everything. I got this bit of footage like a day or 2 ago. There's another toy down here at the bottom in the middle on that island. I only found that because after looking around I was like, it's weird that there's no toy all the way along the bottom, and then as I had another look I found it. And then yeah, on the right hand side there's another one about halfway up the map, sort of to the right of those 6 geysers. Yeah, so 7 toys in total, 2 Warhammer barrels, 150 grand. Yeah, the first time I did that I had like 13.85 million, and then I cashed in the toys when my internet was off. And I went up to 14 mil, and when I reloaded the game I was still on 14 million, but I still had the toys, so I quit and reloaded to try it again, but it didn't keep duplicating it or whatever. I also built, well, I was going to build sand just to completely fill this bridge, but that flappy drawbridge thing in the middle starts lifting up when you've got sand underneath it, so I couldn't put any sand in the middle there, but I kind of sorted the bridge because all the crap that's on the bridge is a bit annoying. First thing I had to do as well was build a an AI route, amplify the signal of the radio tower. So from the warehouse, I believe that was next to where I fixed the pier yesterday, down to the bottom right hand corner. I kind of follow it a little bit better with the camera. It was a van it sent for this. There is other stuff. I think it sent an Azov as well, so it's that rear wheel drive vehicle. Yeah, down there to the radio tower though. So I got that ticking along. And then there was head for the Geyser location over here. But I also thought, oh, there's a mission to build 2 pipes. So I'll get 2 birds with 1 stone. I'll drive over here and I'll get that pipe fixed and that pipe fixed. Yeah, what could possibly go wrong? Come through the logistics station or terminal, whatever, cut across all that mud, get the first one fixed, and then the next one is like at the Geyser station. I've got no steel pipe, so I switched to my links that's already at the construction zone, spawned some pipes, got them in a Voron, and went to go and get them delivered. It interrupted me as I was on the way because the AI routes got there and it triggered this little cutscene and all the rest of it, fixing the radio tower. With it boosted, you can think of a few people that would really be glad to hear your voice. I'm sure Kelly will be ecstatic.
Finally, and not a moment too soon. The village council has been buzzing in my ear all this time. I hope they'll find someone else to nag now, while we move on to something completely different, like a well-earned month-long vacation. A girl can dream,
about
right?
vacations
That's the
again,
more
that's how it
realistic side of
starts.
things. Could you deliver some fat to the log to the sawmill? We still have lots of things to do here, and some lumber should help.
It's true. Getting wood always makes it better, Kelly. Don't you forget it. Yeah, so go and drop these pipes off. It's like before I was rudely interrupted. Yeah, 1, too many pipes to be fixing tonight. Secondly, it all started to go wrong. It started with my internet cutting out. It was a sign of things to come. Yeah, so I dropped the pipes off. I spawned them at the construction zone, so I dropped them off at my harbour base. Dropped them off in my resources, spawned at the tunnel exit base, and now I'm in the logistics thing. Is that a fastening shop? Fascinating stuff. Wonder where the slowing shop is. Probably not built it yet, for obvious reasons. Yeah, I'd already built a road along here. There's like, I had to patch that bit up to get across to here. I didn't bother sanding this section because the road's pretty much solid and doesn't deform or anything like that. Cutting across this bit of mud. I'm not too keen with, it's not just the Voron, I just think the devs in general have made the tyres too crap for this sort of deep mud. Yeah, it was not really having any luck. Drove in there, started drowning it. I already kind of figured I might have to bring a crane anyway, so I didn't even sit there and wait too long. Quickly strapped my pipes over before I drowned. Then it'll just cock block the entire menu. Yeah, it seemed, I can't really see like a shallow route over. In the end it was like, sod it, maybe it wants me to just kind of throw it over the other side with a large crane. And then yeah, again at this point the mud is just a pain in the arse. I don't think like the tyres are good enough on the Voron or the mule or anything for mud in general. But yeah, eventually made it. I've fast forwarded a few bits because the video is definitely longer than I was aiming for, but got quite a lot to fit in tonight. That's what she said, of course. Yeah, a lot of it though, fixing these bloody pipes. It wasn't popping out for me. They used to pop out pretty easy. Now they seem a lot more reluctant. Thankfully, a while ago, someone said just hit them with the pipe you're delivering and they sort of instantly drop out of the way. So that did the job. That pipe is gone. I thought cargo normally floats, but that ain't. And then yeah, at this point, tried to reverse out of here. Already had a feeling this would happen, but yeah, it wasn't reversing out of the mud. Probably got a little bit backwards. At this point, I was like, I'm recovering. I'll get another pipe out of my storage. Then I'll just drive back to the logistics base. It'd be quicker doing this than trying to faff around trying to get that thing out of the mud. Yeah, so back through the logistics base, head into the Geyser power thermal station or whatever it was. And yeah, the other pipe's kind of like next to it really. You can see my crane there, and that's back where I was. Drive into here, and it's at the top of the hill. So again, I already figured I'll try and climb up maybe with this. Although it instantly sort of nosedived, I was like, nah. But it's up there anyway. You might be able to drive round that way, but there's a flat ledge at the top, and again, I had a crane nearby. My idea was just to hoist the Voron up to there. Whatever you do not fall in there. I probably entered the crane menu and was like, oh god damn it, I need to turn the straps off. Yeah, again, kind of give it a poke. took a little... For some reason, my crane was just kept lifting it up in the air. The crane been a bit weird recently. It sort of seems to ignore a few of my inputs. It doesn't rotate left or right. It starts lifting itself up sometimes. Anyway, I completed the mission, and I was like, oh, why is it not saying mission complete or anything? And I should have learned. I sort of called this the other week and all sorts on different missions. It doesn't tell you very clearly which pipes it wants you to fix. So it turns out I fixed the wrong pipes. Because I looked and I was like, what? The mission's still there. It's that pipe and that pipe that it wants you to fix. It's not the end of the world, because I've technically done a part of another mission. But it was like, for God's sake, back to the bloody construction zone, buy a load more pipes, and then it's my fault, but I looked away from the screens, I looked back, like, God damn it, why did I have to roll off the side? Rescued myself with a crane, dropped these off at the storage, recall my vehicle again. I think this time I've spawned at the countryside base. Look, this is just the way the game was trolling me all night. Trying to get this pipe in the sideboard, like, no, get in the sideboard pipe. This other pipe just keeps rolling all over the place, like, will you get the fuck out of the way? In the end, it's like, right, that's it. You are banned. You are no longer in the pipe gang. You are not being part of the pipeline. You can get in that puddle. So it's how stubborn I was like, I'll just spawn another pipe. I've got more pipes where you came from. Stick that in your pipe and smoke it. Yeah, so, again, like, you're never going to be part of the pipeline. These ones are. But yeah, that pipe can stay there, being a pain in the arse. So I drove to this next section. There's like a big, pretty large gap of water between me and the pipe. So, again, like, may as well just bring a crane. Those barrels and that old fuel tank was kept captured on my bloody crane. So, I was getting pretty impatient at this point. Drove in the water, like, cool, right, engine is only halfway to drowning. We're all good. Grab this pipe. Engine, still not drowning. Last second, oh, engine flooded. Just clicked X now as my engine stalled. I could have just dropped the pipe, it would have hit the other one out of the way. But no, game has to be a cock blocker. Yeah, for no apparent reason, I don't know, the water mysteriously became much deeper in the last second. Drowned the engine, cut my crane control so I couldn't do anything. So I was like, right, I'll recover and I'll get a new pipe. Not that one laying on the ground. For God's sake, game. I have to lift the crane this high, because if you could retract the fucking cargo up to the tip of the crane, you wouldn't have to. But because the winch thing just goes dead when you're like 5 or 10 foot away from the edge of the crane. And then yeah, just to get past this like 4 times, enter crane menu, drop the cargo, exit crane menu, restore crane. It tried to tell me I couldn't. I just mashed the button until it did. Enter the crane menu, pick the pipe back up, exit the crane menu. Yeah, got here, threw that one in, it nudged the other one out of the way and landed in the zone. And at this point I thought I may as well just take the big crane, because this Voron all night, between grabbing all the toys and everything, it was, it's not really that thing's fault, but it's been pretty useless all night. I just kept needing the big crane, so I was like, sod it, I'll just grab the pipe out of it, drive over here myself. Turns out it's probably the only place all night that the Voron would have been alright. Yeah, at least the part where I ping the pipes around and they knocked the other one out went pretty well. And then yeah, Kelly's back.
We better do something with its water supply. After all, there's nothing wrong with some mineral water now and then, but not when it's boiling hot and flooding the place, unless you're into that sort of thing. So let's just redirect it to an emergency drain pipeline, finding the spare valves and installing them at the
By the way, I'm next to a downed power line. I'll mention later why that's sort of relevant.
the 2 power stations and the machine yard both. And we'll also have to compensate for the Geyser station being offline, which means freeing some space around the main power substation and
See, I should have listened to her, because she said free some space and then lay a cable.
Of course you did.
Did you get all that? Of course you did. Like, no, I literally didn't. This time I missed it. You'll see why in a little bit. Repair the pipeline between the geothermal stations and the machine yard. So this now is sort of pays off, as in the first 2 pipes I did were actually half of this mission. The next 2 pipes are there, going from like the logistical terminal up to the machine yard. So went and grabbed 2 more pipes. This time though, it was best to set off from the harbour base. I jumped off there like, God, no wonder there's a pothole in the road. It's probably me. Yeah, definitely getting a little bit impatient with the game trolling me, and yeah, just it's like how many. They just kind of rammed all the pipe fixing section of the game into one, like they didn't really spread it out or anything like that. So every mission was like, oh, I've got to go and do some more. Which if I'd known, I would have just bought, yeah, 10 pipes at the beginning instead of buying 2 at a time and keep moving them to the bloody storage. Got here, thought, no, I won't bother pulling that out because it'll tip me. Got my crane legs deployed and everything. Dropped this, it knocked that one out of the way. As soon as I grab it, I start to tip. Like, really? I've just picked my own pipe up and I was fine. That's what she said. And then, yeah, as soon as I touched the broken one, it tipped me over. So I was like, right, recover, drive back here. At this point, it kind of rolled further down the hill because the handbrake doesn't like to listen, or when you hit reverse. Throw this pipe out of the way. As soon as I did, it took the good pipe and fixed it. So I grabbed the other pipe that I dropped when I tipped. I did try to hang it over the back of my truck just to see if it'd add more weight over the back. Maybe the back axles would grip and kind of pull up the hill, but it was having none of it. Tried to drive forward. I don't think that broken pipe was the main reason I got stuck there. I think I would have got beached on the pipes in general. Yeah, so recovered to the base. I think I even spawned another pipe. Get out of the way, AI. Tonight is not the night. Yeah, so there's a lot of free-range pipes lying around because every time something failed, I was like, right, I'll just go and grab another one. I was going to cut across the terrain, and then there was a big gouge out of the map, so I was like, okay, fuck me, I'll go back to the road. Yeah, this one can be done with a Voron though. Kind of a bit of wiggling around. Get there in the end. A bit of ram, so it pops it out of the way already. Look, I was hoping it was going to glitch and just ping off into the air like one of my flying pipes did the other day. Not quite as look. Oh, that was probably where, yeah, entered the crane menu. It's like, god damn it. They need to have the ability to do the straps when you're in the crane menu, which would be kind of an obvious thing to pair up, really. Yeah, remove that one. Throw this one in. Thankfully, it's pretty chilled about what angle and everything. It just kind of was like perpendicular, but it took it.
I knew I could trust you to do this
I was
quickly,
back.
efficiently, and without getting into hot water. In the literal and figurative sense. Have I already told you how great it is to have someone you can entrust with any task, no matter how hard or how minuscule?
How dare you tell him that is Mr. Minuscule to you?
Like you.
When will they learn? The nearer it is, the bigger it looks. Just like, if women wore dicks like sunglasses, they'd look massive. It's just scientific fact. It was all going well until some guy ruined it by inventing sunglasses. In fact, it was probably a feminist. They're like, yeah, women shouldn't have to wear dicks on their noses, and then they ruined it for everyone. Cock blockers. That's what happened. That's why society is falling apart at the minute, because women invented sunglasses. You heard it here first. The Jews are trying to suppress this kind of information, but I'm not taking it any longer. It's got to be heard. I mean, why does YouTube keep trying to shadow ban me when it's just complete facts? Yeah, I forgot while I was doing the first pipe delivering thing that I had to head to the Geyser station thing and just reach the location. I don't really know why, to be honest, but it made me. Yeah, I had the crane nearby. For the life of me, I wondered where my Voron had gone. I recovered it at some point, but I thought I specifically avoided recovering it and left it kind of perched on top of that hill. So it's back again.
If it were up to me, I'd shut this place down for good. But since it's not, we'll be pulling the still usable equipment out of the rubble. Oh, and sending it to Hot Springs. So you'll also have to build a road between the two stations. Sounds easy enough for you.
Building a road. I was like, well, that's not too bad. And then I suppose, at least on this, I mean, I did it the other day, but I sort of got lucky. I went to the road building bit, and it was like, oh, cool, I've already built a road along it, except that tiny little patch, just to be a piss taker. But when I realised where it was like, oh, I'm surprised that was where they wanted you to build a road. I had to kind of fill in over the water, knock trees out of the way. There was tree stumps all over the place. I just did it for convenience. I didn't really realise it was going to be like a main route. And then when I got here, though, with the goddamn horse, it was not bringing up, you know where it says, like, open the construction mission or whatever, so you could recall all 4 vehicles. As I thought, right, I'll drive to the other end, the other yellow square, and see if that helps. I knocked a tree down while I was at it. I do quite like how you knock them down and they fall, and you hear it kind of hit the floor. And then, yeah, it wouldn't activate there, so just as I was flying out of there, I was like, fuck it, I'll just recall them the old-fashioned way, one by one. And then, yeah, it's like, bloody hell, game. It brought all 4 up when I'm outside the bloody square. So, yeah, recovered all 4 vehicles. I just switched to the older steamroller thing, because the newer one doesn't really listen if you make AI drive it. Poured a bit of sand. Thankfully the dumper was already full. Poured a bit to get rid of those trees. Just widen the road along here because the edge it was telling you have to follow. Saved the last little bit. Thankfully it was just enough. Patched that so the road went yellow. So that's kind of officially the sand is down. Gently park my truck. Switch to the Vostok dozer thing. And then yeah, like as soon as I drive forward I'm stuck on a tree stump. And I already cleared this area out and everything. If you hadn't touched this by this point, where it spawns these 4 vehicles in the yellow square would be on top of tree stumps and all sorts, which, again, seems like a poor game choice, because it's only just by sheer chance that I cleared this area. Yeah, and then the game had to be more of a pain in the arse. I thought, right, I'll send the paver as an AI, and I'll drive the steamroller. What could go wrong? Yeah, I was guessing it before it happened. Like, for God's sake, it's not lay and tarmac, even though it's in lay and tarmac mode. The menu was being a pain in the arse, but eventually got it to recover, and this time I thought, right, I'll drive the paver, and I'll send the roller behind me as an AI mission. You know, where like the AI drives it, so it's just following me while I'm paving. Whilst I was trying to tell that to start, though, my paver was rolling forward in paving mode. Typical, now you bloody work. Yeah, so I did like a weird line going off to the side. And in my impatience, there's a little bit of yellow behind me, but we'll get to that in a minute, because I mentioned this the other day. But anyway, I pave all the road, get to the other end, the roller thing is following behind me. Get that done, and when that goes to green, I was like, why is it not saying mission complete? Went to the other end, like, god damn it, I've missed like a tiny bit there. However, so I thought at this point, like, right, I've just switched the loaf, I'm recovering. I couldn't even bother driving both these slow-ass vehicles back to the other side. As soon as I touched the road, though, it completes. Didn't have time to get my paver out or anything. And then, because I did, got a stupid little line. Yeah, I said the other day when I was driving along in the middle of building a road with the Vostok dozer, it was changing some of the patches from red to yellow, saying, like, I've sanded it, even though I wasn't adding any sand, I wasn't in sand flattening mode or anything. Next up, there's an AI route. Apologies, I didn't get great footage of it, but it's from the Geyser station over to basically where I've just built that road. I'll show you a better example in a sec. It's 2 semi-trucks and they keep going wide around the corner. Sorry, there, over to the left of the map, you could sort of see the green line, and then it's sweeping across that road I've built to, what is it, Hot Springs Geothermal station. Yeah, and they eventually, it was just 2 semi-trucks, but obviously it's semi-trucks. Other than like going wide on the corners and being a bit of a troll, they actually got there on their own. Kelly didn't pop up, but I already knew one of the next missions was to, it wants power connecting up here. And again, I was just, my fault, but I was ignoring it. It says clear the area of objects. I'd already just decided, like, nope, connect power. So I thought, right, I'll cut across here. I could go up there, but it looks like a lot of rock. So I just thought maybe going through the swamp will be the best bet. And to be fair, it actually went pretty well. I ended up carving through my road. I thought it'd lift the thing up, but because I've not paved it, it just chewed straight through my sand road. But I went back a little later and neatened it up. Yeah, it was actually a complete clean run. Didn't hassle me or anything with the lifting the cable layer thing back up. But when I got here, it wouldn't, well, I say wouldn't connect. I've not cleared the area of objects yet, so both sides are like got no power to feed to each other. So even though I have connected them up, it's still red on each zone. Yeah, because again, now I was finally like, oh, clear the area of objects. Why didn't you say, Kelly? Yeah, push some of these out of the way. This last green one, they have to put it in an awkward angle so you can't just shove it out. I did entered like marching mode to lift the weight up a bit off the thing, span it sideways, bit of disco manoeuvres, spin around, reverse it out, and we're done. And then I believe Kelly is back again.
While you were running yourself ragged doing all those errands, the sage council of Northlock were feeling quite cozy and warm. That is, until they discovered their backup generator, well, the one you brought for them, has almost run out of fuel. And now they're calling me every 10 minutes, counting down the last gallons in the tank like a doomsday clock. How about you give them a doomsday clock? Just
Kelly's getting violent.
time to connect them back to the
Yeah, I'll be honest, I wasn't really listening to too much what Kelly said. I was like, right, I'll take my dozer,
power line near the village.
so I'm going to fix a power line. Put them out cherries. Yeah, I wanted to go and neaten my road back up, which to be fair, because it was only sand, If it was paved, I'd either have to destruction mode it or hope I can bridge the gap with like the overlay where it sort of extends a bit further than where you lay the cable. Yeah, got it. The road looked fine, to be honest, afterwards. A couple of passes. I had to keep going bloody miles down the road, though, because, you know, when it is like a ripple in the sand, I had to sort of follow it until it stops. And then I didn't do these missions, really, but it wants 5 steel beams there, which is next to the downed power line. That's why I mentioned it earlier. And then there's these 2 white squares. It wants you to find objects. There's 2 in this top one and 1 in the bottom one. However, another mission wants you to deliver 2 objects that just so happen to be in that bottom white square. It's at the... I don't know. Again, not very neat because it was a little bit... I've not even done it yet, so it didn't really confuse me like I got stuck or anything, but I just thought it was a bit of a sloppy way of doing the missions because they're all sort of kind of overlapping each other a bit. Yeah, drove to both zones though, fired out the scanner thing, scanned 1 object in the southern square and 2 in this one. And yeah, found some equipment I've got to deliver. But I didn't actually get into it tonight. I was just ploughing through the game because I kept having my internet disconnect. I was sort of worried. I was just like, right, get some footage just in case it starts messing around later on or whatever. So 2 of those other objects that were in the southernmost white square wasn't delivering over there. The things I scanned weren't delivering over to the machine yard in the top right, but again, I'll get to that at some point later. I actually got to 80%, I did like 16% tonight, so yeah, not too far off. Got like another 7 missions, 1 side objective and 1 infrastructure request. There's that 41 toys sold, that's all them done now. I unlocked that growing up thing or something. Yeah, what a night. Yeah, that's it for today though, thanks for watching, get yourself a loaf, and I'll be back soon.